Hello and welcome to episode 156, or I'm sorry, Jesus. Hello. How the hell did I get that? We went back in time. How did we do that?
What episode are we on?
I don't know where I'm at. I'm still recovering from surgery, so I'm just out there.
No, I like
drugged
it.
up.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Take two. We'll do it live.
Fuck it.
We'll do it live.
Is this heaven? No, it's a podcast. Welcome to the Field of Geeks podcast.
Hello and welcome to Field of Geeks episode 165. I'm Josh.
I'm Mitch.
Oh, God.
I almost go last.
Paper, rock, scissors, guys.
Oh,
Oh, we've got some guests on too.
And some other people. Anyway, let's talk.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, if you can guess their names, you've listened to the show long enough. You're good to go.
yeah. I'm Bill from 515 Gaming.
And I'm Claudia.
This is Megan's other personality we're talking to.
Okay, Megan.
Megan,
Sorry.
you win.
Why can't I just be Claudia? Nobody has to know.
Hey, you could. It's an alias. We all have aliases,
Yeah.
so whatever. Sure.
Oh my god, we should just play it so that you have twins.
Oh my god, let's do that.
You have like multiple twins coming in. You all have the same voice.
Yeah, like when Megan doesn't like something we talk about, she's like, Claudia might like this. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Yeah. There you go. There's an idea.
I don't like WandaVision, but Claudia.
She loves it.
does.
She loves it. She's
I like it.
here for
I like it. How you guys doing?
Superb.
Oh.
How are you?
Ooh, superb. Good. I'm doing good. Doing good.
Can't believe we're finally out of this negative degree weather though.
Oh yeah, it's what is it right now? Whopping. It is drum roll 13. I see.
Hey.
Sweet.
Oh, man.
Get the suntan lotion, get the trunks. It's go time. Holy shit, I know. Like we're gonna get 30-degree weather this coming weekend, so that's gonna be wonderful. Poor kids want to go sledding. I'm like, it's too damn cold. Can't do it.
Yeah.
I won't allow
Make
it.
them go sledding when it's slushy outside. That'll break them.
They just sink into the snow.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot to talk about. I guess we'll start with recommendations real quick, if that's cool. Anyone here have some recommendations for people? Any new shows? I know Keenan just premiered yesterday. I haven't seen it. I don't know. That's just something I thought of.
WandaVision. I mean, it's starting to get good. It's starting to get really good.
I love it. And we'll talk about that later. So yeah, that's definitely, we can recommend that too, of course.
I watched the Cecil Hotel documentary.
I did too. Hey, that's one of the things. Go for it.
There's that out. You can check that out.
Crime Scene, The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. Netflix. Boom. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. Was it Elisa Lam? Is that her name? She mysteriously disappeared. She was at the hotel last. This hotel's been like, from the beginning, I think it was built in the 20s. It's just been ransacked with all kinds of evil shit. And it's just kind of, cursed in a way, a lot of people believe. But she was a young tourist, and yeah, she just vanished. And they have like this eerie camera, elevator camera video of her right before she disappeared. And they talk about, the hotel's history, and there was a bunch of serial killers that went there. The Night Stalker, which is also on Netflix, that he frequented that hotel, I guess. So it's on Skid Row. So all kinds of homelessness, drug dealers on the street itself. And yeah, it's like dirt cheap to live there, I guess, and rent a room. So, yeah, it's just all kinds of things colliding at once to, just make a bad outcome. But yeah, it's a super interesting case, and it's like 4 episodes. I don't know, they're about probably an hour each, I would guess. I'm looking back, but
I mean, I think I got through it in 2 evenings.
oh yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
My wife and I binged it one night. So we didn't mean to. We meant to just watch a couple, but had some nice cliffhangers. So yeah, it was definitely worth watching. On our other show, The Super Unknown, we probably will talk about that case eventually. It's very, very interesting. And there's a lot of theories with her body was found, spoiler, but the circumstances, there's still, there's pretty much been I don't know, not quite 100% of what happened to her, but it's still strange, let's just say. But definitely worth checking out. You get to hear from the detectives that work the case, and yeah, it just breaks down all the history of that area. It's just pretty much doomed, basically. You should just level the damn hotel, I'd say, but that's just me. I also watched The Keepers. That's an old documentary. I think Megan watched this years ago and told me about it, and I just didn't see it till now.
Did it change your life? I think for me, it was life-changing.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm a lot more startled by it. Like I already had my suspicions, and obviously, it involves the Catholic Church and some bad dealings, with child molestation and stuff. It's, mainly about a murder of a sister, Kathy. They talk with people who were like her students, and yeah, it really gets into the hierarchs of the school and the churches around that town. I think it's Baltimore, Maryland, I believe. Super interesting. Yeah, it's very troubling. Yeah, it's a rabbit hole, really, of all kinds of mess.
It does kind of feed into, if you're a conspiracist, it kind of feeds into a lot of the conspiracy theories that surround just the Catholic Church in general, and some of the things that they may or may not be into.
Right.
So
exactly.
Definitely a good watch.
Right. And
I was also going to mention, there's another really cool documentary, and I think I've mentioned it before, but I really feel like it's definitely worth watching, and that's Surviving Death. I don't know if any of you have seen it yet.
No, I haven't.
It's definitely another deep dive into a different realm. And I think I benefited a lot from it. It answered a lot of some outstanding questions that I think I probably had or had questioned. I just think everybody should give it, a go. Maybe it's broken out into sections. And I think there's one section in there that even I'm kind of like, I don't think so. But for like the most part, I think it's pretty good.
Where can we see that?
And I think I watched that it's long. But I think I watched that on a Saturday, just from beginning to end.
Wow. What streaming service is that through?
It's Netflix.
Netflix. Okay. Gosh, Netflix has everything.
It was in their top 10 for a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know that it is anymore.
I will add that to my list. On HBO Max, I'll Be Gone in the Dark is a docuseries based off the book written by the late Patton Oswalt's wife, the late Michelle McNamara. She was a big crime reporter, and she was writing this book, and she died during the process of finishing it. So Patton had to actually get people to finish it for her after the fact, and it's become a bestseller. And it's got a hell of a docuseries, I think, on HBO Max. Definitely worth checking out. It's based off the Golden State Killer, which they just caught a couple years back. It was like shortly after her book came out, actually, and yeah, he terrorized California in the 70s and the 80s. He is the original Night Stalker. Super creepy dude. I don't know why I watch this shit, but it's interesting. It's don't watch it at night. Let's say, watch it during the day when you got daylight. But check that out. That's a really good
wasn't
series.
That old.
No, she was. Maybe she was early 40s. I think. It was an accidental overdose. She was.
Oh.
Taking a lot of uppers and downers, having, sleep problems. People closest to her weren't aware of she was abusing. So, and I don't think she was really either. She just was trying to get the book done. So it's just a tragic accident, and they had a child, so yeah, it's very sad, and it does address her death in the docuseries. Yeah, it's it's bittersweet, basically, but the book got to get out there, and I think it did help a lot. Her research helped a lot get this killer finally.
If you love really cryptic and weird stuff, this isn't really like something on Netflix or anything like that, but one of my favorite YouTube channels is Lazy Masquerade. So they do a lot of like urban legend type stuff.
Ooh, nice.
They did a video on Johnny Gosh.
Oh shit!
Not too long ago.
Oh wow.
So it's really cool. He's just look it up on YouTube, Lazy Masquerade. It's really cool if you need something to just like listen to while you're working or fall asleep to. It's
sure.
really cool.
That hits close to home, because that was West Des Moines where he went missing, and I don't know if it was his kidnapping or maybe some others before that, but it seemed like his had a ripple effect through the whole country and just made it more aware of the possibilities, that kids going out, there's a high risk of some creepy shit happening to them. I mean, it was more aware. It always has happened, I'm sure, but it just felt like the 80s was just that, we just were lucky enough to grow up right when it hit, right? So scary shit.
Fun fact, so there was a documentary that came out on Netflix, oh my God, I think a couple of years ago, that it was his story. And his mom was in it. And I remember watching it. And then I went to the mall, Valley West Mall, actually, like a month or two later. And I was over by JCPenney's, and you know how like there's those couches, out front, in front of JCPenney's.
Yeah.
So I come out of so I was getting my eyebrows threaded, not important to the story, but I come out there.
Like you do.
And she's sitting on the couch, and I'm thinking to myself, God, I recognize her, but I don't know where she's from. Like, why do I know her? Who is she? Like, why is she so familiar? And then like halfway to my car, it clicked that was his mom.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, there's so many theories. Like, she's claimed he's come back at least once, I believe.
Lazy Masquerade did talk about that, like how she had like somebody come to her door. It was like, Mom, it's me, Johnny. Or something like that.
Wow.
And it's really like a lot of his stories are really creepy stuff like that. That's like unsolved mysteries and like
right
rabbit hole type mysteries like that just kind of lead, on and don't really ever get resolved.
Sure.
So it's a very interesting. It's a very interesting channel to listen to if you're into stuff like that. Like if you're a fan of Super Unknown like I am.
Well, thank you.
That's a huge. It's kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Like it's just ghost story type stuff.
Sure. Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely subscribe. I don't know what to really believe, but I do think he's still alive. I think I kind of believe I don't know if they touch on this, but I have a strong feeling he got into like sex trafficking, and I think that was maybe why he had to leave again after he saw his mom. If that is him, I think that was the reason. Like other people were looking for him or something. Very mysterious.
And one other thing, I think it was Hulu or something like that dropped the whole Britney Spears thing. I don't know. If
I heard about that. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Is it good? Yeah.
Is it?
Like crazy stories out of that. Yeah, it's about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
To watch, and it's really good. Netflix came out and said that they're making their own documentary with more interviews, and
wow.
This one is supposed to trump the one that Hulu did, so there's going to be more information on it. But they just came out with information, I guess, this week that he is no longer allowed to have access, I think, to her funds or something like that. But I don't know about the conservatorship aspect as far as
that might be
being under his control.
I think that might be going away too. Like this documentary seemed to like just help this case. Yeah, because I think before all this, there was an attempt for her to gain control, and it didn't go down. It's all from that breakdown she had in was it like 2004 or something? She had that massive breakdown. She shaved her head, and I think it was 2004. Yeah. I'm not sure. It was a long, long time ago, but yeah, I gotta see that documentary. Yeah, that industry's crazy. I'm only imagining things they discuss.
You go through an episode like that, and not only is it normally for somebody like us, it'd be all privatized, but
Yeah.
you're talking like right in front of the main group of people. But the bigger problem is when it happened, when there's that kind of that age where you kind of your parents don't want to stop being your parents, but yet you're ready to stop being a kid.
Yeah.
And move on to being more adult-like and stuff like that. So there's kind of that butting of heads, maybe, per se.
Yeah.
Sometimes for people, it's not that big of a deal. They kind of go through it and they get out. Sometimes it's like a big clash if you got a real strong-headed family member. So I think that's, I kind of get the impression that that's probably what happened. And then the episode that she had that was very public and stuff was enough for him to gain control over her,
right,
in multiple ways, so that he could have control of money. Because it sounds like when she first started doing all this stuff, the first thing that he said to the PR person that was going to take her on was, "She's going to buy me a boat one day." And then she goes, "And that's all I'm going to say about him," because she didn't have anything else good to say. So he does not sound like a good dude.
No.
He really doesn't.
Yeah, definitely watch it if you got some time.
We got a hot topic to talk about. Hot topic. Like Hot Pocket. Gina Carano, guys. She is no more with regards to Lucasfilm. Yeah, I'm not totally shocked because I know for some time it has been been brewing, I guess, between the teams. She's posted some tweets and everyone has an opinion, right? And that's the problem with Twitter. Like, it's all out there on Front Street. So I always knew she was tweeting about some stuff. Now I don't agree with it, but I was still a fan and I liked the character, so I didn't really give a shit, honestly. But I knew, like, hey, a day could come where Disney's like, yeah, we're done with you. I was hoping that would not happen because I love her character and I like the actress. I think she's finally got her due. Deadpool, she really stepped it up acting wise, I thought, and yeah, this character as well. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on all of this craziness?
I'm kind of, I don't know. I was kind of pissed off to find out that she got just fired out of it. I know this has been going on for a while, but it's kind of like, it just kind of seems like nobody can have an opinion anymore.
Right.
I mean, at the same time, it's like, yeah, I get if you have an opinion, but maybe Twitter's not the best platform for it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Especially when you're on the stage, right? Like, you're in the limelight right now. Like, your career is on fire, and it's like, for your own sake, maybe get a PR person to manage your Twitter. You can run it through them, and then they can decide or adjust. Who knows? Or have an alias. I wonder if a lot of celebrities have, who really want to say something, right? Maybe they have aliases. Like, just use an alias. It's like, I mean, you're working for Disney,
Well, and she even got dropped by her agent.
Right, UTA, yeah.
It wasn't just Lucasfilm and Disney that decided to drop her. She just completely got dropped. And
Hasbro, too.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hasbro doesn't want to develop any Cara Dune figures anymore. And
yeah, that's
I don't know.
crazy.
She supposedly got a deal with Ben Shapiro. But
yes.
That kind of fits. I mean, given her stance on a lot of things, it kind of fits.
Right. He just started a production company, and I don't recall the movie's name, but there's a school shooting movie that he backed. Obviously it's really raw, and that's probably what they're trying to do with their films. Maybe, I guess she gets to develop something completely on her own. So, I'm glad she has a job. It's unfortunate. It just, it's just like Twitter sucks, dude. It's like people just shut up. Just don't talk.
It's not even celebrities. Like I see this with YouTubers all the time.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
They'll post something and somebody will take it out of context or be taken. I mean, you can't convey sarcasm over text.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're joking about it or if you're serious about it.
Right.
Is that really the hill you want to die on?
Right.
And so many people have been deplatformed and canceled.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Right.
Because it's like what they believe or one statement they've made supported or who they didn't support.
Yeah, it's just there's just not a lot of conversation happening now as well, right? Like you say one thing stupid. I mean, she said a few things. I'm not saying they're stupid, but obviously a few things that made a lot of people mad. But it's like, there's no conversation, right? It's just like, oh, that person's a piece of shit. We're gonna erase her from everything. Like, I think people like Weinstein level who are scum definitely deserve to be erased as much as possible, but. I think I think it's out of control now. Honestly, I think, like James Gunn, for instance, I mean, he was fired and rehired, thankfully. I honestly think he just thought he was being funny. And yeah, it was an insensitive joke and he apologized for it. He was fired for a while. I think he got the Suicide Squad job. Then Marvel had him come back because they were talking behind the scenes. So like there's redemption. I'm saying, there's I hope someday she can come back. I like her character, and from what I've read, they're not planning to recast, which I'm pissed off because I always hate they have to kill a character off or they have that character's sibling come on who's just like them, right? But they just have like a name that rhymes with theirs. It's stupid.
I think I have too much skin in the game to put my own opinion in it. Because I mean, I'm pretty opinionated sometimes.
Sure.
And I did have a good talk with Joey, and this is outside of the
actual
podcast. But we were talking about that, and
sure.
He made a good point that while freedom of speech wasn't the issue, consequences do occur with freedom of speech.
Sure.
That aren't protected under freedom of speech. Period.
Right.
While I think to some degree that people have pointed out the double standard of certain individuals.
Yeah.
I am just disappointed to see that outcome.
Even if you go on Facebook nowadays, it's like, you can't, I don't know, you have to pick and choose your moments.
Yeah.
Like, this is the time for me to express my opinion and really stand out for what I believe in.
Sure.
Or is this something, if I put it out there, I'm going to get attacked and, throw me under the bus because I don't believe the way they do.
Right.
Well, and I think there's been some backlash. I know that or the day or so after firing, Disney came out with fourth quarter reports saying that they were, leaps and bounds ahead of where they were, and then this happened, and then the whole hashtag cancel Disney happened. So I know that Disney is really invested into the Star Wars world. So I don't know where that leaves the Mandalorian. Obviously, news coming out that Pedro Pascal is taking on a lead role in an HBO film or a show or something like that. So that
The Last of Us.
Question, right? That brings into the whole question of okay, is Pedro still fully invested in the Mandalorian? Which from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like he's going to be as invested or in the show on the third season because of scheduling conflicts. So it's just like, for the Mandalorian, explore some of these other characters. I'm really excited about the Book of Boba. That looks really good.
Yeah.
That could be its own thing. What's that lady who is Rosario Dawson? Isn't she getting like her own show or something like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be amazing to go visit. And then why not bring back Bill Burr? I mean, that whole storyline could be really.
I love his character. Yeah, you got to bring him back. Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know when season 3 is coming for Mandalorian, but maybe if it's going to be a while because these spinoffs, they got to work on those separately. Maybe she'll be back. Who knows? I hope so.
Right.
But
I mean, there's
don't kill her character off. I think that would be shameful. I hate that. Like,
you got to look at the fact that like. The Book of Boba is going to replace, the Mandalorian for December of this year.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they're not gonna do it all at once.
Maybe next December it'll be Ahsoka Tano, and then maybe the December after that it'll be season 3, and by then it'll be resolved. Disney has their plan for the way they're going to do things, and we never know. I mean, we never thought James Gunn was going to come back to Guardians 3.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
So,
and the whole cast, they pulled to get him back, too. I mean, I don't know if that helped, but obviously, there was a big desire to have him come back, and it was like a past tweet, you know, and it was just stupid. I mean, I get Gina's thing's so recent, but still, after all these shows run, it might be enough time for some healing, I guess, you know, or change up in leadership. Who knows? Like,
these studios, they're in a very peculiar place right now because, on one hand, you're seeing the forcefulness of the human, interaction with these studios, saying you need to make it this way. I mean, look at what Sonic did. They bent Sonic over backwards to spend I don't know how much more money on redoing it, and then because of COVID, ended up being the freaking #1 movie of the year. Which, I mean, it did do well in the theaters, but I wouldn't say it's like going to beat out anything that was supposed to be happening.
That actually was, I was going to say that was actually the last movie I saw in the theater, I think, was Sonic.
Right. And, Deadpool was another classic example.
Right.
Footage leaked on that. Studio said, we're never going to do it. They bent to the will of the general public, and that movie ended up doing well. So they're in this kind of weird debacle range where they're like, okay, how much do we trust our own instinct versus how much do we trust everybody else? And they're siding with everybody else, maybe not for the right reason, but just because they're so freaking scared right now that they don't know what direction they want to go in. Obviously, the Zack Snyder one's another one. I wholeheartedly believe that that'll be a big enough kick in the pants of WB, which we've already talked about previously on, they aren't even doing any sort of marketing for this. This is all HBO Max doing it. And then you've got Zack Snyder, which is on Twitter blowing up everybody's Twitter feed, and that's taken off like crazy. And it's funny because Zack Snyder is doing more PR work and doing a lot better than the studio. So, they're in this really weird place right now, and I don't know how to explain it.
And to back up to like Lucasfilm, like Kathleen Kennedy, all her faults with the direction of Star Wars, because I think they thought it'd be a walk in the park with the sequel trilogy, and it just did not deliver. I think the first one might have been the only one that was, it could have been greatness. It was supposed to go further, and it just seemed to
it felt like a soft reboot.
It was just not. I mean, they didn't even develop the new characters much. They made Rey ultra powerful, and they just kind of shoehorned in her origin at the end. And you can give Kathleen Kennedy credit for getting Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni together, because they made the Mandalorian what it is. But I think their success is starting to outshine, and I think that would be a smarter direction to go with those guys, because they're actually fans. I think that's the biggest mistake all these studios make when they get these properties. I think they are always put off by people who are fans, think they're going to geek out too much. And so they don't want anything to do with them. Well, like when you give people who are very talented outside of their fandom for something, and then you put that together, like they're going to deliver something spectacular, something special. And yeah, you could say Mandalorian, some don't like it as much as we do, but I think it's better than the sequel trilogy we got, and it's building a lot more. It's world building, the show. You get to see all these other places, these characters, these, little things that we never really got to understand about the original trilogy. They're expanding upon all of it, and with the TV format, it's great because you have all the time in the world to do that, effectively. You don't have to jam it into a movie, which I think is another reason why the sequel trilogy just, they didn't give us what we wanted to start with. Like, we wanted the whole gang back, at least for one movie, right? And then they could pass the torch. But instead, it's like every damn movie killed off one of the original characters. And it's just like, what the hell? What are you doing? And these new characters were not yet interesting enough to go on a journey with. And they're just kind of like hollow, they weren't fully developed. But yeah, The Mandalorian has done a lot more to make that better.
Like with the prequel or the sequel trilogy, I'm sorry, I wasn't invested enough in any of the new characters that, like, if they would have all been killed off by the end of episode 9, I wouldn't have shed a single tear.
Yeah. I cared more about them in the first movie than I did the other ones, because they introduced too many more characters to care about.
Exactly. I mean, you just can't care about them.
Phasma was so disappointing. Like that could have been something so cool, like the armor, what's her story? We don't get anything of her story. It's just like she's dead. You know, it's just like, what?
Yeah.
I
Really?
hate to say it, it was the Boba Fett of the sequel trilogy.
Right. Which maybe she'll get her show someday, and you'll get to you love her like she should have been loved. You know, like we've gotten more on Boba Fett now than ever. You know, outside of the comics and the books, of course, but like the movies themselves, the originals, I didn't get the fascination of Boba. You know, I didn't until now. He's a badass. So you get to finally see him kick some ass, you know, and it's a lot more developed. He's an older Boba Fett, but still, it's actually just in the timeline. It's only maybe 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So yeah, it's really the same one. We get to actually utilize him more. So I think it's great. Mandalorian and all the spinoffs, I think they'll do great. Yeah, it's unfortunate about Gina. I really hope she can return. I love her character. I'm going to be really pissed if they kill her off. Like, it's best just to not maybe mention her character. I don't want her, because her character is on a journey. She just joined the Rebels, and maybe they could refer to her on a mission. I don't know, but it'd be stupid to kill her off. I think that's a mistake. And regarding the Hasbro toy line, supposedly she was part of the season 1 and 2 Mandalorian figures, and the next series of figures wasn't going to have her. So I don't know if that's true or not. I kind of want a figure now, but I'm sure they're outrageously priced because they're rare.
As long as they don't kill her off at all or talk about her, there's kind of the assumption that she's off doing her own thing,
right?
Which we kind of all assumed. And in
sure.
After season 1, when we didn't get an immediate, where is she kind of thing. I mean, she just reappeared. And I kind of got the feeling that at the end of season 2, how they kind of had everybody lined up, that her storyline was done, and they had reached the arc there.
True.
But who knows? As long as they don't kill her off, there's always that hope of return.
Right.
And I think it's cheap. I mean, there's some things that you can't do, like what's his face for the Black Panther. I mean, you can't say he's off running errands or something, but
right.
But at least in this case, you can just say, hey, she's off doing something, and then, should she get picked back up by Star Wars and
sure.
Disney again, then she can
well,
come back.
And that's another thing about, when people pass away, the actors of these characters. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with recasting. That character is so much bigger than an actor. Not to say the actor's performance, should be forgotten. That's not at all what I'm saying. Right. But that character, there's so much more story for that character. Like, T'Challa marries Storm in the comics, just for one thing there. And he already went through his trials in the first Black Panther. And I get, paying respect to Chadwick and stuff, but I still think it's like, I think he would like the character to continue. I don't think he would want them to just halt everything. And, that goes clear back to Dark Knight, with Heath Ledger. I know Joker I believe he was part of the third movie. They were going to do a third movie, and, they shied away from recasting because of Ledger's performance, which I totally understand. But to me, Joker is such a big character. Eventually they did, move on, not in the Nolan verse, but, just things like that. I guess either way, it's like however the studio wants to pursue it, but I don't think it's a personal, like, screw you to the person who, played the part. Like, it's just a bigger part,
right.
It's bigger than an actor, or an actress. So
what Mitch said, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. I think that we just, part of it's the platform that she's on.
Yeah.
And then, choosing to use that platform to communicate, her own personal beliefs. And
right.
I think as a celebrity, I think we should have learned by now, and it's unfortunate that that's just something you can't or should not do.
Sure.
It's sad, but
right.
I mean, you're just not afforded that luxury, I guess. So
right, yeah, you got to be careful what you say, especially when you got a huge paycheck coming your way, which she was negotiating. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, hopefully she'll be able to make this other movie happen, and it'll be successful. Yeah, hopefully she come back to Star Wars eventually.
Yeah,
time will tell.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, we have time. A couple people who've passed, we should honor real quick. Christopher Plummer. He was 91. He was just in actually Knives Out. That was a year or so ago. Great actor. Sound of Music, Star Trek 6: The Undiscovered Country, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and countless other films. And
National Treasure. Don't forget.
Yes, he was the grandfather, right?
Yeah.
What the hell was his name? The last name of that family was Gates. Was that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even in that movie that long, I don't think, and he still was a great presence. He was a talented actor, and yeah, just iconic. He always was in our life with whatever. He was on the Cosby Show once. I know that. He guest starred on that, and yeah, obviously Star Trek 6. That was a big deal. General Chang, badass Klingon dude,
yeah.
with the eye patch with the bolts in it.
I think General Chang is second only to Khan for me.
Oh, sure.
Star Trek antagonists.
Yeah.
Like, he was
pretty good.
I think just the way that they did his character and everything like that was just phenomenal. And
yeah.
And not only that, but like that whole movie like made parallels to the
Soviet conflict, the Cold War, or the Berlin Wall coming down, sort of.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really, he was just like had such a range as an actor.
Yes,
and I don't
did.
think we see that in very many actors these days. So
yeah, I mean, he was. Yeah, William Shatner was an understudy of his when they were doing like Shakespeare in Canada. They're both Canadians, and yeah, many years later, he asked Christopher Plummer to be in Star Trek 6, I guess. And actually, Plummer was a fan of the original series. He was watching it while he was in England at the time, and I actually think he hated Sound of Music. I mean, I think he grew to like it, but I don't think he ever really. I forgot what he said about it.
I don't think he thought that it was going to go anywhere.
No, probably not.
Or that it was going to be as iconic as it was.
Right.
I think he was like, oh, it's just another.
Right, exactly.
Just another, 40s musical or whatever it was.
Yes, but I was really thrilled he was in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Or, I'm sorry, Knives Out. Both those films, but Knives Out, that was a treat. I was like, wow, he's really. He got a lot of screen presence, even though, spoiler, he was taken out right away in the movie. But all the flashbacks and stuff, like he was interacting with every actor. It was great. It's fantastic. Yeah, and he's actually the oldest actor to win an Oscar, too. So, yeah. Wow. R.I.P. Cloris Leachman, Iowan native, represent. Yeah, that was
sad.
It was sad, yeah. She was in The Last Picture Show, which was a movie I've never seen, but I want to see really badly. Jeff Bridges was in it. She won an Oscar for that one. And she was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Beverly Hillbillies, she played the granny. It was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Young Frankenstein.
She was also in Beer Fest.
Was she?
Yeah.
I've seen that for a bit.
The German grandma that warmed up
oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. She always popped up in things like Bad Santa. She played the granny. Want some finger sandwiches? Yeah, she was all over the place. But yeah, she went to Roosevelt, class of 1942. There's a stage there that's named after her. And yeah, she acted in the Des Moines Playhouse before heading to New York. And there's an actual award named after her called the Cloris Awards, or the Clorises, founded in 2015. And yeah, she was always proud of her roots. So yeah, I really dug that. I like when Tom Arnold's another celeb, and Ashton Kutcher, and maybe there's another Iowan I'm not thinking of. But I like when they send a lot of respect towards Iowa. Because everyone else just shits on it. It seems, right? It's like, you're from Iowa. I don't know. Captain Kirk's from Iowa. Hello.
Yeah, they made a whole movie about that.
Yeah, I've been there. I've seen the site of Captain Kirk. His birthstone, if you will.
Nice.
Yeah, so rest in peace to those two actors. We also lost Screech, Dustin Diamond. That was very sad. He just got a cancer diagnosis, I believe. It was really, really quick, but it was stage 4, I think. Yeah, I was hoping he'd have a happier ending. Because I know they just rebooted Saved by the Bell, and I'm not sure if they were going to bring him back or not. Because I think he was trying to rekindle their relationship.
I think they were going to.
Yes.
At some point, but
Yeah.
He had a lot of struggles.
Yes, he did.
Just with being a child actor, and I know he had been on a couple of those like celebrity shows like Dr. Drew, and
yeah, he's an asshole on those, but he's probably just maybe I'm hoping he's acting. It just felt like like they have to amp it up a little bit. I remember he was on Celebrity Weight Loss or something like that. Fit Club. Did you say that, Bill?
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you didn't. I ignored that.
It's like, I think Celebrity Fit Club or something like that. He was on that. He was on Surreal Life.
Oh, wow.
He had like just a tremendous amount of struggles that he dealt with substance abuse and depression and things like that. And
yeah,
it's just sad that he never quite got the help that he needed, and or he did get the help that he needed and didn't see his life fulfilled.
Exactly.
The length of so.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He actually was a stand-up comedian for a bit, and I think he wrote that book. It was the unauthorized telling of Saved by the Bell or something like that, I think. Yeah, and I think he was in a knife fight or something like 3 years ago, and I think he went to jail for a bit. So he was obviously out of jail, and then he got this.
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know he was making the circuit of kind of like forgiveness, like, I'm sorry, I messed up. And
the circle of forgiveness.
The circle of forgiveness. But anyway, yeah, that's very sad, and yeah, it sucks. A lot of these people who brought you joy, when you're a kid, they are not happy. Things are missing, and things are messed up in their life. So it's very unfortunate. But yeah, rest in peace to those great talents. Thor, Love and Thunder just started shooting about a week ago, I believe, and there's set photos, and I sent this to everybody. Hopefully everyone got a chance to look at it. If not, I'll just describe, but he's looking very Thor like in the comics. He's got like yellow boots, it looks like. I don't know if you've spot that in the image I sent you, but definitely back in shape. He's no longer Fat Thor.
Yeah, no more fat suit for Chris Hemsworth. That's okay. What can you do without that?
Yeah, man, he's rocking this like leather vest thing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sure Megan's speechless. Claudia might have to talk for
her. Yeah, Thor's no longer Pudgy Man. Is that what we were discussing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Red vest, leather vest with some blue pants and some yellow boots.
He's got that chiseled jaw going too.
Yep.
He just doesn't do it for me.
Really?
He just doesn't do it for me.
More of a Chris Pratt guy or girl?
No, Chris Pratt, definitely not him either.
Who's your favorite Avenger? Like the dudes, I guess.
Who's my favorite dude?
Yeah.
That's such a funny way.
Why not? We have the female perspective here, Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye.
No, ew, absolutely not. Could you imagine?
How dare you?
No. Not to mention that I think he's probably just an a-hole in general.
I've heard,
but he also looks like he suffered from acne as a kid, and like he just has scars that can't be digitized.
Oh no!
So that or his face is just that ugly. But
Jeremy, if you're listening, please still come on.
Yeah.
Claudia will interview you. She loves you.
Claudia says no. I don't think I have a favorite Avenger.
No?
No.
I was going to say Chris Evans, if anybody.
Oh, come on. No. Yeah. What?
No. And not even the actors themselves. Like, I have always loved Batman, even just as a comic book character.
Ben Affleck, I know.
No. Because he's dark and mysterious, right?
Oh,
That's
yeah, sure.
Why I loved Batman. Always.
Right. Yes.
I didn't care who played him. I mean, it helped that Michael Keaton played him.
You're like, don't take the mask off. You're good. Yes.
And then Ben Affleck came along, and he just ruined it for me.
Oh,
absolutely ruined it for me.
What? Come on.
I'm sorry.
What? Well, you mentioned Christian Bale. He's in this movie as well, Love and Thunder. So yeah, it's a huge cast, and you got Natalie Portman. I'm really digging this.
I'm so excited she's back. So excited. I love her. I
hope she brings it though. I don't know. I felt like she got kind of in the phone it in position, maybe with the last Thor movie. But Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they, if her character is like the main character, probably not. But I mean, in the comics, the storyline that they're adapting, it's a pretty big storyline centered on Jane Foster, her character. So, yeah, and then
I really hope they can CGI her mouth shut for more than 5 minutes.
What, Portman?
Yeah, she's always got this like her face on her. It's like
maybe her and
like her
Jeremy
lower
should
jaw
do a
just
movie
is like
together.
10. Her lower jaw is like 10 pounds heavier than the rest of her face.
There's like a nerve severed or something. She's just like,
Yeah.
I'm Thor.
I'm Thor. I'm Thor after doing Pilates.
Oh my goodness.
I feel great. Guess my age, 52. No, 40. What?
Oh, what?
Bitch.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope she brings it. I'm excited for her return.
You might have heard my kid in the background. She said something about school. She's also wearing a Batman shirt right now. I just would
Good.
like to
So am I.
that.
I am too.
See?
Good team to be on. Yep.
Batman's where it's at.
I'm
I'm wearing Batman. Never mind. We're not doing that.
Oh, yep.
I'll give you one guess. It's where the Dark Knight hides.
It rhymes with. Oh my god.
Oh no. Not the bat nipples. Ah.
That gives a new meaning to the term, do you want to take a ride on my Batmobile?
Can you imagine if they made condoms that like
I feel like
where it was gonna go?
I feel like the Adam West Batman, where like everything was bat themed, like bat shark repellent, bat condom, bat lubricant, bat double sided. Never mind. Okay.
Robin, have you seen it? I'm gonna go see Catwoman tonight, and I need it.
Seem to have misplaced my my bat plug. Do you know where that is?
Oh my god.
Alfred's got it.
Sick
bastard.
Word, because I'm about to be robbing your panty drawer.
Oh my god. That's a deleted scene.
Well,
So
70s were some crazy times, man.
So speaking of love, Thor: Love and Thunder is currently filming, and yeah,
Yay.
maybe there will be some plugs. Who knows? Doubt it. It's Marvel. Anyway, yeah, I like his outfit. You guys digging this look of his? I don't know how long he'll be sporting it, but got the golden locks.
Yeah, we shall see.
I like it. Star-Lord's right there.
I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I think so too. Hopefully they just maybe pause the humor for some serious moments. I definitely enjoyed when they went from Ragnarok to Infinity War. You know, they just they raised the stakes more, I guess you could say. It felt like.
Yeah, I think Taika Waititi does a really good job with the character.
Yeah, I think so too.
He really does.
Yeah,
he's done the best character out of all the Thor movies. So
yeah, it's very definitely very original. It feels, and my only thing is I thought it was just 2 joking spots. I'm sure I didn't hate it though. I thought it was probably the most exciting Thor movie we got. I mean, the first one was kind of cool. Like had a Superman the movie type of feeling with it. I don't know. Yeah, Ragnarok definitely got the franchise going again because, you know, we haven't had any more Iron Men since the third one, and this is going past the third movie. So, yeah, they're just, I think they're getting into a new phase where they're just exploring these other comic storylines. I believe it's in Australia they're filming. So, yeah, Chris doesn't have to go too far to the set, I imagine.
He can bring his wife and his kids.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, because she has no more Fast and Furious to do. She was killed off. Spoiler. She's an actress too. I don't know her name, but I just know she died.
Ella. Is it Ella? Elena?
Better than I got.
Something?
Yes.
Ella.
Ella Rich. Yes. Yeah. Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer dropped, guys. I'm excited. I've been excited. It's coming next month. 4-hour movie. That's 4 hours of Affleck in the bat suit. Megan's getting excited.
You know what, though? They had some really good shots of him in that.
Yeah.
some that changed my mind a little bit. Some actually decent shots.
Yeah. Snyder he's a really good director, I think, and he films very well. And I think you definitely didn't get that with the Justice League we got.
Even added some Joker footage.
Yes.
In the trailer.
So he's got like long hair now, and I think a lot of people are like, why does this look? I'm like, because it's Jared Leto. He doesn't cut his hair.
Yeah.
He shaved his beard at least, so... I got one complaint about the new Joker. It looks like he ate a big can of like baked beans, and it's like all over his mouth. You know, I don't know. Just in the black and white photos, anyway, it just looks that way.
Yes.
Do you remember that video, the baked beans video, from like forever ago?
Oh, it's been so long. Remind me.
It was like I'll have to resend it to you, but I came up in one of our podcasts a long time ago where we mentioned baked beans. And this entire video is in a different language, and the only thing that you hear is baked beans, but it's this rapper. And he's with a bunch of half-naked women, and it's like, whoa, baked beans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember?
I remember sending that to you. I can't remember how it all went.
Baked beans.
He'd be wrapping up a store. He'd say, baked beans.
Maybe that's part of the soundtrack.
Maybe.
Never know. I know, it's just the only criticism I got, though, of the new Joker. Like, I think otherwise it looks pretty cool, but yeah, it just looks like, man, your lips are really chapped. You might want to, or wipe that off your face. I don't know. But other than that, it looks good. In color, which we got finally for the trailer, it looked pretty good.
I feel like the jury was never out on Jared Leto as the Joker for me. It's just not out. I still feel like he could have been something more than what he was,
yeah,
or what he was allowed to do.
Well, and that's the thing, though. They shot so much of him for Suicide Squad that we never got to see, and they totally edited that movie terribly. And I hope we'll get a cut, an air cut of that film, which I think
that'd be nice.
Snyder is trying to get that to happen. So yeah,
I refuse to judge him until I
and I think that's fair.
What he did,
yeah, that's totally fair. What we got was just a little bit of his whole performance, and it looks like this performance is a little bit more toned down. Maybe with because it's like a nightmare version of Joker. It's that nightmare scene we saw in BVS, which I really enjoyed, and I'm glad we're revisiting. I really like the Batman in the trench coat with the goggles. It's a cool look. I don't know, and it seems like Joker's maybe more tame because the chaos out there from Darkseid is so much greater than his chaos. It just makes him normal. I don't know, but who knows? I mean, he is wearing a SWAT vest. He probably killed the guy who had it before. Besides additional shots, obviously, what were your thoughts of the trailer with everything that went down, everybody?
I really hope they touch up Darkseid.
Really? Yeah.
He looked a little too Power Ranger-y for me. I mean, I get it. Like, Darkseid's kind of like DC's Thanos.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Just the shots of him in there just seemed like they were copied and pasted.
Sure.
On the trailer.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I don't know. That's probably like, it's probably by no means a finished product. Like, I'm sure they've got all the touch-ups and stuff like that they need to do yet. But
I'm sure they'll be working like towards the deadline for sure on the retweaks and stuff.
Oh yeah. I just my biggest hope with it is that they don't cut out anything that was in the trailer from the actual movie itself.
Yeah, I get you. Yep. That happens a lot. Yep. You'll see cool shots. Yep. And you're like, where is it?
Why tease us with a better movie if you're just going to give us another steaming pile of crap?
Yeah. No, man, it looks really good. I think it's going to be something really, really special, and it's something rare for us to get on this level. You'll get a director's cut of certain movies, but it's usually like 5-10 years away from the original. But this is such a unique situation with the whole release of Snyder Cut campaign and the supporters. Joey's one of the strong supporters. He's really been invested, and he's actually on that clip they always show of Snyder announcing that the cut's coming out. He's one of those faces, which is really cool. That had to be really amazing to be part of. Superman, he's got a shockwave scream now, which is pretty cool, I think. That was a neat effect. I like that.
Yeah.
And it really goes back to BVS. Like, Snyder was setting things up, and Justice League just kind of ignored everything. So, like, of course, it didn't make a lot of sense. Yeah.
I'm glad they added that, because that makes a whole lot more sense for like why some extraterrestrial being would just all of a sudden say like, "Oh yeah, sure, let's go to Earth."
Yeah. Superman's scream from dying had to be that powerful. I never really thought of that, if he's got like super breath and all that stuff, that's got to be amplified enormously when he's actually killed.
Like, oh God, that smells like Kryptonian.
Man, he's got super breath, and I'm sure it just magnifies after he dies.
It does. It's metal, man.
Spoiler alert, the plot of the Zack Snyder Justice League movie is Darkseid bringing Superman some Listerine from outer space.
It's a 4-hour Listerine commercial.
Well, and the bigger cut is when he voids his bowels, and you can just forget about the Earth's gravitational pull.
Justice League 2 depends.
We just shift away from the moon.
What that green water was. Wasn't it green?
Mitch, what did you think of the trailer?
I watched it several times. I got goosebumps, to be honest with you. It looks amazing. It's something that's going to be so far beyond the Weldon storyline, and it's just so well done.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be hard to say no to a second story, but I hope that it isn't redone in a way that Zach kind of ties up all the stuff that he wanted to get done, kind of feeling.
Yeah.
But I hope it's enough that it sparks interest to continue on.
Yeah.
Because I know that the original thought was, okay, they kill Steppenwolf, and then the next movie would be
Darkseid.
Darkseid kills a couple of the actual Justice League members, and then the third movie rounds everything out. So they all come,
Right.
There was this kind of breakdown and rebuild and stuff like that. So
exactly. Yeah.
We're going to get to see. I don't know if there's any truth to the whole fact that we're going to see Green Lantern. I don't know anything about Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. That's for sure. Martian Manhunter is for sure.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
So these are all interesting aspects that I can't wait to see. And some of the scenes you see with Darkseid, if you look very closely in the background, it looks like he's already on the planet, and not in his own thing. So it's going to be so intricate. And Zach has such a keen eye to keeping things as comic book accurate as it could be. So even if it doesn't follow a specific storyline, it's going to look like it should in the comics.
He's a craftsman. He's really invested.
He really is. Yeah. And yet he always gets shit on. But the true fans of comic books, I mean, I don't know anybody that hates The Watchmen except for a couple of my friends, but they just say, "Oh, it's too long and boring." No, it's really not. If you watch it and follow the storyline, it's the most amazing piece of artwork I've ever seen. And still, in my book, holds number one spot for best comic book movie of all time.
Right. Well, and it's just an embarrassment to WB. For so long, you had all these YouTube pundits and internet people saying it doesn't exist, this cut, and to just give up and all this stuff. And it's just funny now that they kind of have to eat shit, but they're still trying to not admit to being wrong. Of course, they clarified saying, well, what we meant was it wasn't a complete cut. Right. It's like, well, I get that, but maybe say that next time,
They're backtracking now that there's an actual trailer and a release date.
And I think a lot of them are excited about it. It's like, wait a minute, you were just telling us a few years ago, it's a pipe dream. Don't even worry about it. It's not happening and blah, blah, blah.
But see, I don't get it because you've got this huge fan base that wants to see it. You've got a potential to make more money, which is number two. And I don't see why anybody would say, hey, this is a bad idea, unless basically it shows their ineptitude to make a good movie and decision-making processes up at the top level. Yeah. So whoever Josh or your Joey has ever said, those two people, they're just not good people
Mm-hmm.
for the company. They don't understand the comics. They don't understand the vision of DC.
Yeah.
They need to get thrown the F out.
Well, yeah, and I actually asked Joey before he went on, like, is there anything you want me to like bring up? And he was just saying that the WB UK Twitter tweeted support for the movie, but the main account still hasn't really promoted the film, and I guess they try to steal the thunder of the trailer release with the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer, and it of course failed miserably. And the trailer, Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer, has had 24.9 million views. So big hit. People want it, and I think they're going to subscribe to HBO Max to see it and watch the hell out of it. I'm super excited. It is an embarrassment to WB, but there's other people in charge now. Like, you've got people from the AT&T side, because they've merged their companies. So I think those people, from what I've heard from others, they helped make this happen because they saw the big bucks and they saw that people wanted to see it. So they basically, told those other people to step aside, like, we're going to do this. So get on board. And of course, those people in charge are saying, like, this is a one and done thing with Snyder. But yeah, if it's successful enough and if there's a cliffhanger, which there could be, I could see Snyder giving us a cliffhanger because, you want to get, he wants to see if people want more. And if there's enough people who do, their voices probably will be heard because they have been heard already for this cut. Yeah. And power to them. I hope that would be so remarkable if Snyder got to do another Justice League or another property. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I think he had a pretty solid relationship with Warner Brothers before all this mess, and Whedon stepped in and just really damaged that film, in hindsight. Yeah. And yeah, he's going through troubling times himself right now, and I guess he just wasn't a good dude overall. So it's unfortunate, Ray Fisher, he's been really trying to stick it to them for just their mishandlings of the cast. In the end, I think Snyder is the winner here, plain and simple. So I'm looking forward to his cut, and it's got to be great. It has to be, and maybe not great, but it's definitely going to be better than the Justice League we got. So I'm super excited and pumped, and yeah, we got the Bat Tank. Did you guys see that? That's from Dark Knight Returns, the comic. Jesus, they're really going for it. So yeah, it's going to have a Junkie XL soundtrack. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's going to be good. I'm excited. So I can't wait to see the damn thing. I'm sure I'll just binge watch it to death. Hopefully we get it released physically too. That would be wonderful. Another trailer broke today. Cruella, Emma Stone. She's starring as a young Cruella DeVille. This actually looks pretty damn good, I think, except I don't really want to feel bad for the character because, she likes to slaughter dogs for coats.
I don't know. I think it'll be good, just like Maleficent was good, but I'm not a huge fan of Emma Stone. I'm not. No. I think I don't know. I could have I can probably think of 5 different actresses I would have rather seen as Cruella DeVille. To be honest, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'm sure my daughter's a huge Disney fan. She'll want to go see it, so
sure.
I'll take her to go see it. I'll reserve my I've been wrong about casting choices before.
Yeah, maybe she'll surprise you. I mean, I think it looks really good, and Emma Thompson's in it, and Mark Strong. That's a great supporting cast, and yeah, it looks like a really good movie. Again, though, it's like, that's a kind of a dark character. I don't know if I want to feel bad for them. Well, sure, the dogs are outraged by this film.
I watched it right before the show. It's like Disney's take on the movie Joker, where they kind of took a real dark look and kind of made a bad guy movie, with Joaquin Phoenix. It kind of has that feeling to it.
Yeah.
I like the scenery. I think and I'm sorry, Bill, I know you don't like Emma Stone, but she's come a hell of a long way from Superbad. I think, yes.
She's a stone fox.
My my Emma Stone isn't based off of like the tween movies that she did. It was based off of her playing Gwen Stacy.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. I've seen it. I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
But I'll leave it at that. I need to see one more trailer before I really make an opinion, though.
Sure. I mean, I'm not going to pay $30 to see it like they wanted us with Mulan.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks really good. It looks like a movie I'd see in a theater. So I don't know. What about you, Megan? You got some kids like me? Bill?
Yeah, I don't care. I think we talked about this when we first caught wind of it, and I think
maybe
I feel like I said I didn't care then, and I don't care now. I don't like Cruella de Vil. I don't like 101 Dalmatians. I don't like any of that. I don't care. I probably won't watch it.
I wasn't a 101 Dalmatians fan either, though.
What?
I just wasn't. I didn't like the movie.
Mitch hates dogs.
Growing up. No, God, no.
I'm kidding.
No, it's not that. It's
I'm
I never
kidding.
Got the
I like
just weird.
Sorry. I prefer Jennifer Lawrence over Emma Stone. Their humor is similar, but I just prefer Jennifer Lawrence.
And that's my cue to exit.
So yeah, Cruella, that's coming to Disney Plus, I believe, May 28th, 2021. I'm sure Megan and Claudia will enjoy that, maybe. Maybe they'll have a little... maybe one of those review shows, like with the two-way mirror, you know? We'll make them... Yes, I like that. Yes. Well, moving on to comics, this is really cool. I don't know if you were aware of this, but Warner Brothers, they did the Batman 66 and Wonder Woman 77 sequel comics. This was maybe a year or so ago. They just announced they're going to do the Batman 89 and the Superman 78 sequel comics. So very exciting. It's coming this July. Sam Hamm, he wrote Batman 1989, the movie, and he's writing the Batman comic, the series continuation, if you will, of the Tim Burton verse. And I've seen some artwork. It looks amazing. They actually incorporated one of the toys, which was really cool. I'm really digging it. It's a real treat. And you got the Richard Donner Superman. That's going to get a sequel in the comics as well. So yeah, artwork looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite interesting.
Sounds like a good concept. I might actually have to pick that up.
Same here. And I don't buy comics too much. I mean, I like to buy them more, but it definitely takes something super interesting for me to like really go out and get it. And yeah, I can see me picking up these issues for sure. Cause I actually do have Batman 66 meets the Green Hornet, I believe. Kevin Smith co-wrote some of those. So, that was the last thing I collected. So I still haven't read them, but I collected them. So they're here. I'll just have to get off my lazy butt and read them. It'd be super cool to see the continuation of both, especially now that it appears Keaton is coming back to the Batman verse. I hope that's going to happen for sure. They kind of been loosey-goosey with it, but it does sound like it's going to happen. So I'm super excited, and yeah, I get to see this comic. So maybe we'll get to see Billy D. Williams as Two-Face. I don't know. Superman 78. I wonder what they'll do there. I don't know if they'll ignore 3 and 4 and just pick up, or I don't know.
Please God, don't let it be an origin story for Nuclear Man.
We already got that, right? I didn't realize till years later that was Gene Hackman's voice for Nuclear Man, and it made sense because Gene Hackman put his DNA in the rocket. So I was like, wow, I got that like 20 years later, 25 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie's bad. Bad. You can see the wires. That's how bad it is. So last but not least, WandaVision. We are talking episodes 4 through 6. How are you guys digging this show? Keeps changing every week, as it should, I guess.
Oh man, I don't think that anybody that had anything bad to say about episode 1 can say anything bad anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. I never got that. I really didn't. Those first 2 episodes when they were released, I dug them because I knew there was more episodes coming, and I just was shocked by so many who jumped the gun and were like, this is not good.
It was a very slow burn. I think I said that the last time we were talking about that.
Sure.
It's like, it was a very slow burn at first, and now it's just like, it's a bonfire, and you're like,
oh, it's crazy.
what else is going to happen?
Right, and every time it like, oh my god, this is so good. Please stand by. Like, fuck.
I know.
Damn it. Yeah, I after we talked about the first 3 episodes, I was watching. I think I was watching the 4th one at the time, and my kids were like, "What are you watching?" And I told them, and then they're like, "Well, can you start from the beginning?" I was like, "All right." They really dug the first couple episodes. I mean, they like all of it, but they really liked the beginning because it's written very well, like a sitcom that could have existed, and it's kind of family friendly, but obviously it's getting darker. But they're actually digging it too, and I think that's very special, because I didn't, on its own, if you didn't know the characters, like they actually want to see the characters now outside of the show, and I'm like, all right, let me think of some movies I can show you. But yeah, they have all kinds of questions. It's really pretty cool, actually. But yeah, episode 4 is, we interrupt this program. We get Monica Rambeau coming back from the blip, if you will. It's kind of like a dark side of the blip. We got to see people come back in Spider-Man Far From Home from the blip, comical. This is very dark. Like, she wakes up in a hospital and people are just going apeshit. You got a dude saying, I need to call my wife. He hasn't talked to her in like 5 years. And yeah, then you get the heartbreaking news that her mom passed. It was like 2 years before she came back, I guess.
She was like talking to the nurse, and it's like, yeah, your mom's been dead for like 3 years or something. It really hit me because it was like, we hadn't really seen anybody coming, like you said, coming back from, the blip, so to speak. So,
right. Wasn't actually addressed.
Like we got to see like the chaos of everything that would be unfolding, and
oh yeah, I mean it's crazy.
I think you get to kind of see what some people thought, what their thought process was while everybody was gone, and then when they came back, it was just kind of like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah, I mean, I think they explored that with Endgame, like fans did, not the movie itself, but it's like, you imagine like, where's your house at? Where's everybody? Like, your spouse could have got remarried. Like, for instance, Spider-Man Far From Home, his teacher's wife, like, faked her disappearance. She just left him. So, yeah, that was...
and even Aunt May said there was somebody else living in her apartment when she came back.
Oh, right. Yeah, definitely.
They were looking at her like, what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of darkness there. Like, I think we talked about it in the group chat. I was like, you imagine if you're in an airplane and you just reappear in the sky? I mean, I think MCU has, like, lovey-dovey said, like, well, you'll be on the ground when you come back. You won't be up there. But let's say you weren't. That would really suck. It's like, we're back. Holy shit. Just fall, thousands of feet. Welcome back. Yeah. But the hospital definitely, this scene really amped up, like, the stakes of coming back. And, she's like running. She ran into a dude who came back too. And yeah, so you get reacquainted with her, with, the world. And she's a sword agent. So her mom founded that, we come to learn. And she's been assigned to this missing persons case, and we get to meet Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love the card trick, throwback there.
Yes.
That was awesome because that's what Scott was showing him, right? Or he was asking Scott, "How you do that?"
Yeah,
I love that.
It's just like I love like just the little callbacks they do like that.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's kind of one of those blink and you'll miss it kind of things, but
right.
You had to have watched the movies to really get what that was about.
Right, yeah, like all these characters, like they've been like planted, their seeds have been planted, and it's like they come back and it's like, oh, you remember exactly last time, what they were doing, or that was such a, and he actually did that trick. Like, I think he did it. It took a couple takes, he said, but he actually did that trick, the card trick. And,
yeah.
That was such a cool scene. I love seeing that, and I love his character. It's just like effortless with him. He's just so good at the humor. It's not too corny. It's just right. You really like the character. I mean, people want a spinoff series already of the guy, and he's only been in a movie in a couple episodes now, but it just shows you, there's just a lot of cool characters. They brought Darcy back, which was great. I hadn't seen her since the Dark World, Thor: The Dark World, and I love the character. Yeah.
I was really surprised because, like, watching the Marvel movies and everything like that, before WandaVision came out, I went back and I, like, binge watched the rest of, the MCU movies and everything. And I'm like, she's the most useless character. Like, they didn't do anything with her
Right,
whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then she comes back and she's got, like, a doctorate and she's, like,
Mhm.
a super genius and everything. I'm like, wow, they're actually doing something with this character now. That's awesome.
Yeah, she cracked the code. She got they're like, hey, get me a TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a crazy world. Like, I don't think we still know what's going on. And I like it. You don't want to figure it out too soon.
Oh, yeah.
We get to, on a very special episode. Yeah, I love the intros. They did a Family Ties intro for this episode 5. The kids had a growth spur. That was interesting. I like the when they were babies. That was a nice touch when they put the binkies in. They just spit them out, and it's like, yep, that's parenthood.
Yeah, exactly. They did a lot of cool things with that episode. Like, they were kind of starting to break down the walls of
Yes.
this, pristine world that they're in. Like, you can't have a dog until you're 10, and then all of a sudden it's just like, whoop, they're 10 years old.
Right, and they do it in front of Agnes. Yeah. That's a new thing.
She's just kind of like, oh, that's normal. And Vision's kind of like, well, what the hell?
Yeah, I like that he's
What
on
happened?
to her. He was like, where did Geraldine go? Oh, she had to leave. And he already started getting suspicious there. But yeah, this
just like breaking down the walls of everything that's going on.
Right.
The one thing that I want to know more about with episode 5, when they're showing Monica Rambeau and she's trying to kind of like figure out everything, and
Mhm.
She came back at the end of, was it the end of episode 4 or the end of episode 5? She came back. She got ejected from Westview.
Yeah, it was during episode 4, I believe. She came back. Yeah, because they brought us up to speed. She vanished, and then they figured out how to watch the television. And they found out she had been had, and then they get that alert, and then she's thrown out, and then they're all like, "What the hell is going on?"
I really want to know, and I think they'll probably touch on this later, but she made reference to like Captain Marvel in this episode.
Yep.
And she's kind of like, no, I don't want anything to do with her.
Right, yeah.
Like, okay.
I found that very interesting.
Maybe like Captain Marvel's exposure to her mom caused the cancer or something.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I mean, I don't know.
Hey, that's possible.
Little things I kind of think of, but
that's a good. I never thought of that. That's a good point. Wow.
But the other big thing with this is the commercial with episode 5. So every commercial they've had is kind of like had a little Easter egg in it for Wanda's past. And episode 5 was for Lagos paper towels. And the tagline was, when you make a mess that you didn't mean to.
Oh, sure. Yep.
I do remember that.
So it's kind of like, oh, is she doing all this because she feels guilty for causing the Civil War and all that stuff?
Right.
Like, what's going on in her head kind of thing. But yeah, we also find out from Monica that this is all being done by Wanda.
Yeah, it's all
there's
Wanda.
There's nothing, there's no Hydra behind it or anything like that. It's all Wanda's doing.
Right. And I think that's her perspective, because I really think something else is happening. I think Wanda's doing some of it, but like when Vision brings that dude out of the trance, his coworker, and he's freaking out, and he just says, "She's in my head. She's in my head," and I'm like, well, I think that's just a clever misdirect, because he's not saying her name. So I think someone else is helping out, and I really do think it's Agnes. A lot of people think she's Agnes, the witch from the comics. Agatha.
Agatha Harkness.
Yes. I kind of think there's something there with that. I mean, she's a really good actress, so she could definitely pull that off. I think, being a villainess. Yeah, I don't think it's all Wanda, but I think most of it is, or she's being controlled. yeah, very
Being manipulated somehow.
right. Like when she went and got Vision's body, for instance, like that just feels so out of
Yeah.
left field. You know, like she was driven by another force to do that. Because
Yeah, they showed her. They showed her breaking into a sword facility, and Vision was just torn apart, pretty much.
right, yeah,
And she broke in there, and was like throwing people around and everything like that. It kind of seemed like she was in a trance or something,
yes,
or just, you know,
like
completely just batshit insane.
right, like she was
Yeah.
in that. She was in a hex, and then she created a hex. So it's kind of like a multiple layers of hex going on. It looks like. It's just so intriguing. Like, you know, I just love every episode. It's like keeps you guessing, you know, like what the hell's going on. You know, in this episode, you find out Vision doesn't remember anything of his past life. He just knows that his name's Vision and he's got these powers, but he doesn't know anything else. Yeah. And
he actually got kind of pissed off.
yeah,
towards
and
the end of
scared.
it.
He said he's scared. And yeah, when they both rise
He was
up, I'm like,
I'm
oh shit.
frightened. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Right. Yeah, he's just
Right.
kind of going with it, and then he gets broken out of that trance or whatever, and because he's a highly intellectual being, so he's starting to question everything, and definitely when he picks up the transmission from Sword, through the Apple II computers he sets up or whatever type of computer that was in the office. Yeah, definitely suspicious. And then, the dog dies, and I guess it ate Agnes's plants, but I don't know if that's what happened exactly. Kind of think Agnes just did something.
It kind of seemed like, I mean, we never really saw the dog. She just had it wrapped up in a blanket.
Right.
And then Wanda's like, kids, don't age up. Like, you have to learn to deal with death.
Yes.
Like, you can't just suppress everything that, everything bad that happens to you. And
right.
It kind of moved on from it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they were like, have you ever brought anybody back? Or Agnes was like, can you do that? And then Vision steps in. So yeah, something's definitely strange happening. Like, because from Sword's perspective, she clearly brought him back to life somehow, but yet she's telling her kids she can't bring, the dog back, and you have to accept death. So it's like, well, unless she's just not practicing what she preaches, but something tells me there's something more going on. Like she was kind of just, Well,
and she even, I think it was towards the end of episode 4, she even saw like Vision with the big hole in his head and like,
yes,
looking all black, like black and white kind of.
Which just amps up the creepiness because you're like, his corpse is just floating around this whole time, probably.
Yeah.
And it's just disguised. Like, oh, that's just so creepy. Like, what else is happening? Like, is there any other corpses in this town, or is it just Vision? Like, it's just, it just keeps unfolding, and I love it because it's just, your mind's not made up yet. You kind of have an idea what's happening, but yet you don't. And, just when you think you're understanding it, they throw a freaking curveball at you, and Pedro shows up at your door.
Yeah,
right.
I was crazy. Yes,
and I loved I loved Kat Dennings' line in this episode. She's just like, they recast Pietro.
Yes,
like she's the only one that knows that, like,
right,
he's not, the original Pietro.
Exactly.
But
yeah, and it's Evan Peters, who was Fox's version of Quicksilver. That was super cool. I was like, wow, because they own everything now, and it makes sense. But yeah, then it's just more confusion, right? Because you're like, is he an X-Men? What's going on here? Is it just they're just messing with us? Probably, like, hey, we can use this actor now, because she even doesn't recognize him from the looks of it, and then he's like, you gonna give your brother a hug?
Yeah. Well, and he's just totally different, personality wise, everything like that. It's like the cool uncle that shows up on sitcoms now and then and causes trouble for everybody.
Right. And she said, she told Vision, like, before she opened the door, like, she's like, I didn't do that. I promise. I didn't do that. And of course, Vision's at a state where it's like, I can't really trust you. Like, I don't know what's true anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, she didn't do it for sure.
they're even having this argument while like the credits are rolling.
That was funny.
Like
Yes. Yeah. She made like some strong point and then she rolled the credits.
Yeah.
He's like,
And
nope.
He's like, no, wait a second. No.
He even had the audience clap and
Yeah. It was like, he's like, no, wait a second. No, we're not done with this
not
yet.
done.
Like, he's just completely shattering the fourth wall. He's like, no,
Yeah.
that's not it. But
that's what's so brilliant about it. Like every episode has played it straight, but they've also broken the fourth wall many times.
Yeah.
You know, the tone's shifted and the aspect ratios have changed. You know, sometimes you don't spot it, but you know, they're definitely changing. They're going widescreen at spots, and then, you know, your television format.
It's another one of those little subtle changes you have to just kind of pay attention to.
Right. There's so many Easter eggs. It's crazy. There's just so much artistry in it. That's what I really appreciate about it. And I think that's what I really loved a lot about the first two episodes, you know, aside from it dragging a bit, but I really liked the investment they did with, you know, trying to actually make a sitcom, you know, like the 50s and 60s. And yeah, and it's just it just keeps evolving. Right. So, you know, you get into the all new Halloween Spooktacular episode we just got, and you get like a Malcolm in the Middle type of intro. We're into the 2000s now.
I'm excited and I want more, but I heard that the next 3 episodes or the final episodes rounding out are all going to be an hour apiece.
Good.
So finally, I'm not screaming at the TV when it's over.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I just start getting into the meat of things, and then bloop, it's done.
Well, this Halloween episode sure does get into a lot of meat. I mean, and the costumes are so cool. You know, they get to actually dress like their counterparts in the comics. Like, that's the only way you could get away with it if you put it in the kind of a setting like this. It's pretty genius, I think.
But I think the fact that you see Vision basically start to shred away, means that this is her therapy, and we won't get a Vision after this unless they can figure out how to get the Infinity Stone back. But what I don't understand is how, because it looks like he took her body, she took his body, the dismantled body, and somehow placed the Infinity Stone back into his body. So I don't know how that works.
Right.
That's yet to be explained. And if she can project that,
I think a lot of it has to do with like the fact that like he was powered by the Mind Stone, her powers came from the Mind Stone. I think she's like the only one who could, you know, piece him back together and make him animate.
Yeah,
you know,
I think so too.
Yeah,
they did a nice callback to Young Avengers with this one though, with the kids. They gave them actual powers. So in Young Avengers, like, you know, Wanda and Vision have kids, or twins, and they become members of the Young Avengers named Speed and Wiccan, who basically have, you know, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch's powers. So they kind of did a callback to that. So it's kind of like, I don't know if they're going to expand on this or if like she's going to end up creating mutants.
Right.
Or something like that with the whole hex thing that she does. And
because there's the House of M storyline, right, where she like tells the world like forget about mutants, or there is no more mutants, or something like that. Like, obviously it's going to be a variation of that if they do go that route.
They did a lot of building with Pietro's character in this too. It was just kind of like, what happened to your accent? Well, what happened to yours?
Right.
You know, it was like everything's just, he's like, I was full of holes, and then I heard you calling to me, and here I was. Like, they didn't really, I don't know. She like sees a vision of him with like bullet holes in him and everything like that.
Yeah, so, like a dead version, like Vision in a way. Yeah, it was him. Yeah. And it was his face, so it wasn't which they did show the other person who played Quicksilver. They did show him in like a flashback in the beginning of the episode. So they definitely didn't shy away from showing you like there's a different actor who played Quicksilver. That's why she's confused, like, who the hell is this guy? He looks like my brother, but something's off. He has my brother's powers. Yeah, and there was that flashback when they were kids. You know, it was like a very stereotypical Russian neighborhood, whatever. They got like a fish for trick-or-treating or something. It was just so over the top. And she's like, I don't remember it that way. One quick thing, when she brought the Stark Industries probe, they had to use 80s tech to go into the world. It was the episode before, and Wanda brought it out. Did you guys catch that her accent is back?
Yes.
Yeah, I like
It's
that.
like
As soon as she steps out, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like outside of the Hex, she's like back to talking like a Sokovian again.
Well, because in the movies, it gradually was going away. It was very thick in Ultron. Civil War, not as much. Probably Civil War is probably same as this show when she's in her actual.
It's
But yeah, Infinity War, she totally didn't have the accent. It seemed it was totally gone.
well, and even in Endgame, when she was confronting Thanos, she had a thick accent.
Right? Yeah,
And
that's
I think
right.
It's more of like when she's triggered by anger. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
Her facade kind of drops, and
Yes, that's a good point.
She's like, I'm not pretending anymore. I'm pissed off.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
You know.
Looks like Hayward's like a massive dick all of a sudden. I kind of thought that was weird. I don't know if there's a shapeshifter going on, but
I kind of get where he was coming from though, because he had that whole thing of like, the 5 years you guys were gone, we had to do what we had to do to keep the lights on.
True. Yep.
Like we had to survive without, half the Avengers gone and everybody else in our lives being gone. We had to do what we had to do to keep everything going. And then he sees, this person come back from the blip and create this huge problem for all of.
Yeah.
And then
that makes sense.
Like kind of I felt like kind of at the end of the episode, his fears kind of became realized.
Right.
Because, she, Vision crawls out of the bubble and he starts falling apart. He's like, help me. And
that was hard to watch.
Then, yeah.
I was like,
and then she freaks out. She blasts Pietro. She starts expanding the bubble and it just like sucks everybody into it.
Right.
So it's kind of like, oh man.
Yeah, like the agents turn into clowns and Darcy gets sucked in because they handcuffed her to a Jeep right by the perimeter. And I like how she's like, oh, fuck, right when it takes her. It's so Darcy. And there was a quick shot of a carriage or something. And I wonder if that's she's inside that carriage.
Yeah, it was like the vans and everything. Like one of the vans became like a ice cream truck.
Yes.
And it looked like it was a carnival kind of thing.
Yep. Exactly.
But they also did with Monica. They looked at her medical records.
Right.
And it looked like after she came back out of the Hex, she was altered.
Yes.
So maybe she'll become like some sort of superhero. I don't really know too much about Monica Rambeau from the comics, but I think she eventually at one point became a Captain Marvel.
Yes, Photon was another character. She was, I think, maybe recently they made her into Captain Marvel, just an easy way to make her popular, I guess. But yeah, Photon's another character. I think was her character before Captain Marvel. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely is going that route with her. I like that because I already knew she was powerful in the comics. I didn't know if she already was or she had yet to become that way. So, it's very interesting. That whole world's crazy, when Vision's going on the outskirts and it's just like window dressing, but the people aren't really doing anything. It's a creepy image of that lady and her husband. They keep doing the same motion and you see like a tear go down her face and it's like, oh man, that's gotta be torture. Like, and then you see, it's so creepy.
It's kind of like the farther that Vision got away from the square or whatever, the central part of the city, everyone was just like kind of motionless and just kind of like a mannequin in a shop window.
Exactly. Yes. Yep. It's like strings are being pulled. They're puppets, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, except they're totally still, I think, the further he gets, right? They're just standing there. They're not even doing anything. And
that's what makes me think that Agnes has something more to do with it because she was the only one that wasn't, motion. She was like, how do I get to the square from here?
Right.
And it's like, it's like, well, you've lived in this town your entire life. You don't know how to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
he revives her, and she kind of goes nuts, and he puts her back into a trance, and I don't know. I think there's a lot that's yet to be healed with this, but
something's going on with her.
It's kind of like the further they get into the series, the more I'm like 30 minutes isn't enough.
No, right. And it's, like Mitch said, they're hour long for the last 3 episodes, hopefully. So that's, and there's like when she got out of the trance, she like grabbed her chest, and she always had that necklace. So that's another indication she's that
Agatha Harkness.
Yes. So that's gotta be what's happening, but maybe somehow, Wanda put her under a spell too. I don't know, but it was very weird. And then she's screaming at Vision, "You're dead! You're dead!" Kind of like RoboCop, like, "We killed you! You're dead!" And he didn't know who the Avengers were. So you definitely are like, wow, he really doesn't know who he is. He just knows that his name's Vision. He's got these powers, and he's onto something. Yeah.
It was almost like she brought him back with the purpose of not having him remember any of the pain of his death or being attacked by the Black Order or anything like that.
Exactly.
She just wanted a husband, or just wanted him for herself, kind of thing.
Right. It's like it's like what Vision wanted when they were in I can't remember what country they were in Infinity War, where he just asks her to stay.
Exactly. So it's kind of like she's stretching out this one moment of happiness they had over months.
Exactly.
So
and then of course when she stops expanding, credits again, credits. Real quick, what do you think? Who do you think Monica's contact is? They're meeting up with. You think it's Hawkeye?
So, I think from what I remember of the episodes, like, there was one contact that she said that was an expert in astrophysics.
Yes.
So that made me think of Reed Richards.
Oh, dude.
But I think the person that developed this vehicle or something like that, like, you can see it in like some of the trailers. It's like this big tank looking thing that goes into the side of the barrier.
Right.
So I think the person that she was going to meet at the end of this episode was somebody different.
Right.
Because I don't know, maybe or maybe not, but I could see her reaching out to like maybe somebody that works with like Stark Industries or something like that, trying to figure this out, or maybe she even reaches out to Hank Pym.
Right.
And I mean, this series is going to excuse me. This series is going to like go into, Multiverse of Madness.
Yes, it's opening up so many things. Yep.
All that other stuff. So I could see her reaching out to somebody like, Hank Pym or something like that, and being like, "Hey, I've got this problem. How do I get in here undetected?"
Yeah.
Maybe.
But that would be so cool. Reed Richards, if that was Reed Richards, like, wow, it's a way to set up things. They already did talk about Hayward when he was talking about some of their astronauts and stuff. That could have been the Fantastic Four he's referring to. Like, there's all that possibility, but and
if we get a cameo from John Krasinski,
yes, I was just gonna say that I want him to be Reed Richards so bad. Like, make that happen. That people would lose their shit. I don't think he's got anything going on. I know he does Jack Ryan, but that would be so cool if it was him and maybe his wife playing, Sue. I don't know, dude.
I think he wanted his wife to play Sue Storm, but
I've seen the artwork for it. It looks great. I mean, I know it's fan art, but when I saw that, I was like, this has to happen. You have to make this happen. It looks great.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on.
But
that would be a treat, man.
We'll see. I mean,
I know.
We gotta think too, like Nick Fury at the end of Far From Home. He's on a ship basically with the Skrulls.
Right.
Or supposedly it's a sword ship. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been said that it's a sword ship anyway.
Sure.
I'll have to go back and look at it, see if there's any like icons or anything like that on it. But
of course, it could be Doctor. Is it Salvik? Who's in Selvig Thor movies? Is he astrophysics engineer dude or?
Yeah.
He might be too old. So. I don't know to want to get involved, but that's the only. I'm just trying to think of all the ones out there who are that.
He was kind of like going crazy in Dark World too.
Yes, he was. Yeah,
like
they had fun with that.
He was giving a lecture with like his shoe off or something, and
running around naked and. Yeah, they need to bring him back. I don't know if it would be him or not, but yeah, watch it be someone we don't even know. It's like just a totally new character. We're just all let down. I don't know. It's going to be... I'm excited. And I still don't know what's going on with their brother, Pedro. I don't know what that is. I don't think it's him, but yeah, something's really off. Like, because he's really grilling her at times, and he knows what's up. Yeah. He's not fooled. So he's in on it. He's like a plant or something, you know?
Well, I think it gets into the multiverse thing. Like maybe the mutants will come from a multiverse,
right?
Something like that.
I'm sure it's going to be quite something, quite a way to introduce it. And the other thing is, I mean, this is far away from now, but if they get into alternate versions of people, I know people have been saying like it would be cool if John Krasinski was Captain America in one of these worlds because he auditioned to be Captain America long ago. Yeah. So it would be kind of cool. He finally got to play him, but it's like a different Earth or something. Like they really could have fun with that. Just shuffle around the characters. I mean, they even said like Tom Cruise, Tony Stark, because Tom Cruise was going to be Iron Man a long time ago. They probably won't do that, but it would be cool just to see it. Yeah. Get 90s Tom Cruise. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I can't wait for the next episode. 3 more episodes. So yeah, we'll definitely talk about those once they all air. I'm excited. And we'll have Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think, coming soon after that. And then Hawkeye. And I'm not sure. Oh, Loki. Loki's coming sometime. I don't know right now off the top of my head. Loki looks like a trip too. So I like it though, man. This is a lot of world building happening. You get to see old characters, some new characters, and then it's just cool, the expansion of things. I think it's going to help keep the MCU going for a very long time. You know, that's something WB has to get behind. So we'll see, but we'll see. At least someone's doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, that was a good talk. Yeah, thanks for being on. Everyone else put it out. I get it though; it was a long show. Before you go, please plug your YouTube channel.
Absolutely. So, 515 Gaming on YouTube. You go on there and subscribe. We've got a lot of good stuff coming. I'm working on some new editing techniques, and I'm going to be doing some horror games coming up.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I like it.
Hopefully, I'm planning on getting a pre-order for Resident Evil 8 as well. So that'll be coming out in May.
Sweet.
Until then, I've got some new games coming up and finishing up a couple ones that I'm just kind of playing on my own to see if I can get some good content out of. But lots of things to come for 2021.
Fantastic. Look forward to it. Yeah. Thanks for being on again. You're like a geek we need whenever, seems like.
Absolutely.
Yes. And we'll definitely cross over to your channel eventually. Once I figure out how to do all that crazy stuff, technology wise.
Definitely.
But be back. I'm Josh.
I'm Bill.
And I'll throw in Megan and Mitch. The power of editing.
I'm Mitch.
I'm Megan.
Yes.
Take care, everyone. We'll be back.